Now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome and good morning, good evening, wherever you are. And hopefully you have heard our intro as, the normal hiccup in the time frame delays are not always my big fun part. So today, we managed to have a very special guest. Welcome, Rafal Nowak. It is a pleasure to have you with us. You are representing Infobip, and Infobip as one of the hidden champions or the not always directly known unicorns is a fantastic candidate to talk about and to have some chat on what you are delivering to the world. And I'm curious about yourself introducing a bit and telling our audience how you came to Infobip, what is your role in Infobip, and what you did up front.
Hello, Thank you very much for the friendly introduction, Ralph and Marshall. Happy to be here. Thank you very much for the invitation. So my name is Rafal Nowak. I'm representing Infobip, this ominous unicorn from Croatia. You've been asking where I come from and what I'm doing right now. So basically, that's a trivia funny part. I'm coming basically from the online gambling corner. And throughout the years, I moved closer and closer to the telcos. At my last gambling step, developing a gambling product for the Deutsche Telekom in Germany. That's how I landed in telecommunications. And I got hooked, obviously, over there. And started to work with innovative solutions, telecom solutions. And switched over to one, at that time, small Croatian startup producing omnichannel SaaS platforms. About omnichannel and SaaS a little bit later. What I'm doing right now is I'm responsible for our mobile network operator relationships in the DACH area, so the German-speaking area in Europe, and the CEE area, so the area a little bit to the east from the German-speaking region. Mainly, I'm connecting a lot of platforms to the telcos. I'm taking a lot of channels and solutions from the telcos. And together with the telcos and enterprises, we are creating new models, new communication tech. So in a nutshell, that's what I'm doing.
I understand that you have a history with art, sir. You used to run an art gallery. How did you get into tech from there? I'm curious.
Tech and startups in tech have a lot to do with creativity. To create new scenarios, new models, it's sometimes like with art, you know? You take few elements, few colors, and then you create something new. And if you have that mindset and you have the tools and instruments and the ideas what could be created in the end, then it's a creative process, first of all, and it's a very awarding process. As you have mentioned, I was in charge. I owned, let's say, a long time ago, a gallery in Vienna, Austria, and you think it's art, but it's business as well. So to make business out of art, it's kind of similar to make business out of innovative tech at this moment of time.
And interesting enough, our dear friend Winfried, who is at least remote with us, did not know yet your approach, how you came to that path, which is quite interesting, as Winfried was the, let's say, spiritus rector of getting me aware how fascinating Infobip is, and to get you aboard in our show, as he did a nice little setup where you have participated and some of your customers talked a bit about their experiences. And he is greeting from Istanbul. Lovely.
Hi, Vincent.
Shall we envy him a bit? Yes. And yeah, right, he is. There's this, the art of communication and the art of networking and the art of having contacts in a lot of areas. And you mentioned one creative starting point, not only compared to the art gallery yesterday when we had our chit chat on the Siam Convo. You meant either a golf club and a golf course or an art gallery do open opportunities for communication and doing business in a relaxed atmosphere.
That's a good. Basically, it's a good description of a turning point. I mean, of a point of a crossing point. Basically, we have we are dealing with communication. So, where does communication happen? When it happens on the ground, it does happen where people meet, where people eat, play, watch something, have a drink together, and somehow everything was my personal development was always pushing me towards this creation of communication in order to, let's say, sell something or start something, upsell something, or create additional, let's say, touch points. So I was as well studying journalism and communication studies. So that's one another aspect of it. But when we speak about, let's say, innovative communication, we are at this moment of time at a cross point of the new communication development. As you know, the digital communication nowadays is so diversified, and it happens on so many touch points, so many channels, in so many ways. It can happen one way from one point A to B. It can happen two ways, where somebody engaged is answering and then starts a dialogue with you. And it can happen between different target groups. And as we know, different target groups are using different channels, communication channels. So now for us and for the audience, for the consumers, it's so easy to start any kind of communication.
Yeah.
To reach out, to ask a company, for example, of a business, to contact me on my preferred channel. And business and enterprises need to be prepared for that, because otherwise you miss out something. And the bigger the business is, the more communication you have. So you have all kinds of marketing communication, all kinds of customer support communication, and you have all kinds of those target groups. So this is the beginning of the omnichannel communication journey.
And it's all about communication, and such as my little rocket is flying and starting. It is out of curiosity, where does Infobip support that need and urge for communication over all these channels from the end customer's perspective and the one who wants to communicate to the end customer? How do you do it?
This question is as deep as the ocean. And this question
Oh my goodness.
Good job, Ralph.
As usual, we are being asked this question by the enterprises that we are approaching.
Yeah.
And the first answer is wherever you wish us to start the communication. Why? Because of so many touch points. Yeah. So Infobip has the ability to establish the dialogue on each and every channel, starting with the SMS, the old good email, going over all the OTTs, so WhatsApp, Viber, Telegram, whatever there is, the new channel of RCS, which is being guarded by the mobile network operators, but the technology is being provided by Google, but as well on channels like voice or video. So whatever communication a company is having in place right now, we are starting at that point. So imagine somebody has a business and is sending out email newsletters. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the only way of communicating with people. So we are telling them, and we are sharing the expertise, how to expand this established relationship via emails into a relationship, let's say, as a next step via WhatsApp, Viber, RCS. Why? Because it's too one-sided. I mean, you as a business, you don't plan for the second step by sending an email. Yeah, you know that people like less than 1% of the audience that you are trying to reach is opening those emails, clicking on the links in the emails. So right now we have the tools to basically engage people in other ways. So we are telling them, look, potentially you have an Instagram site. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So try to attract people to that Instagram site, and it doesn't require to register yourself, submit any personal information. But on that Instagram site, you can place a WhatsApp button and ask people to, investigate your product, ask us any question, or have a look behind the scenes because we show you some special aspects of our product or some promotions. And then suddenly you have somebody in a channel like WhatsApp reaching out to you where you can engage in a dialogue like those people are used to do with their relatives, with their friends, and they trust these channels.
Yeah.
So you see, and this is just one aspect of this whole communication game. You can as well have a hotline, for example, as all good voice hotline where people are calling to get, I don't know, to get help potentially with your product, to inquire about something, to ask you for an appointment.
Mm-hmm.
And usually, potentially, sometimes people are waiting too long on that hotline. So you are implementing a mechanism where you inform people who are maybe staying longer than a minute on that hotline and don't get through to an agent. You ask them to, ask us via click one, and we are switching over to WhatsApp or RCS. And then you can be helped with a friendly menu where you potentially you guide yourself through. If not, you can go back to voice or video. Or we have a case in Macedonia right now, a very hilly place where it's very difficult to send out technicians.
Yeah.
That people can call you on video, call you basically from their mobile, use both cameras in their mobiles. The front camera potentially shows you a part of your modem or router that you think is broken. And the other one shows your face. And on the display, you see the technician talking to you. And basically, you save the physical, cost of sending your technician somewhere. And you are engaging with people almost, in person, but still saving a lot of money and potentially saving very quickly a problem that might have to do with a wrongly inserted cable or stuff like that.
That is an excellent example. And I recall that Alan Bergson, a friend of ours, did manage to get his router problem sorted by a similar approach. So I embrace that approach in technology to support people. Just out of curiosity, because before I share some comments from Winfried with the audience and yourself, is could you elaborate a bit on the abbreviation RCS? What is RCS standing for, and what is the service behind it?
So RCS is something like a rebound, the telco's rebound to WhatsApp and friends. Yeah,
Okay.
RCS is rich communication system, which allows the telcos to have a common standard, allowing them to have a native technology, which means all the Android phones can receive RCS messages without people downloading any application, like it's in the case of WhatsApp or Viber, and communicate in the same way as on WhatsApp or Viber. Yeah, so this is the rich communication that allows you to not only type, but click on interactive buttons, see pictures, multimedia, sound, video, and exchange, and that built in as a part of the dialogue. So in Germany, we have 2023 is the first year where all mobile network operators have brought this product to the market. Mm-hmm. And the businesses in Germany can already now and are starting to use this channel for business purposes. So
it is fascinating, as what you just said, that aside of speech and assisting, there is complete new opportunity to create a supporting and a co-creative experience, as Winfried is the one who is very fond of co-creation, such as it is not only for assisting, but it's also giving a new perspective in the communication on the touch points. I find this quite compelling and fascinating, as WhatsApp, as you said, is a known set of tools or a touch point which they trust and use to work on, and they like to serve and like to utilize. So it has no barriers for them to enter into that service. It is trusted. Now I understood the RCS part of it. That is very valuable, and such as you have now a lot of people from the business side which have taken, so to say, the bait from you as a fisherman, that this is something extremely beneficial, where they can get their audience on a new channel, or can get them hooked in a positive way and service them with ease of use and no barriers.
The only barrier is that the RCS is run on Android phones. But as we are speaking, the European Commission is working on the interoperability scheme for the European Union, where you will be able to send out RCS messages to iPhones as well soon.
That is good news for all the Apple fans in our universe, but I'm happy that I'm a hardcore Android user, so I have already all the advantages, to say so, in my hands. Is there, just from the gut feeling, you described a lot of services which are utilizing the opportunities, or Infobip could manage them. Isn't there much competition outside there for advertising, hooking up? And could you give us a hint on that one? How is the market?
Luckily for us, the competition is very fragmented. What do I mean by that? The competition is, our industry is split on hundreds of companies that are specializing in a certain aspect of communication. So either they are specialists in WhatsApp, or WhatsApp and Apple Business Chat, or on customer support solutions, or marketing automation without channels, with channels. We have worked tirelessly throughout the last few years to create a holistic solution. So a solution that gives you the broadest reach of channel, basically all digital channels that are available nowadays and interesting and have scale, but as well for the tools to build the dialogue in those channels. So you need to know that if you are automating the dialogue, you need chatbots, you need automation, let's say tools. You need to have the plugin to CRM systems in order to create target groups from your customers. You need to respond as well on the behavior of your customers. So this typical case of somebody's placing a product into the basket, not buying it, but after, let's say, a day, the system triggers a message on a certain channel with, let's say, a promotion of 10% if you really decide to buy the things that you have placed into your basket. We can go as deep as, reacting after when a customer enters a certain page, web page, and stays inactive. We can trigger, a message after 5 minutes, oh, you are interested in that product that you viewed 5 minutes ago. You can be as pushy as that, of course. But the idea is, to have the tools for that. And sometimes it is really good to respond quickly, but sometimes it's good as well to be ready to respond on, let's say, the input of the user on each and every channel, or to ask the user, which channel would you like to use while speaking with us? Yeah. So the industry is big, but very specialized in the moment. And there are companies like us, I would tell you, that there are maybe 5 globally like that.
Oops.
Well, you're one of them, and that's important. I'm curious with RCS, where do you see its future? Or more importantly, where do you see the future of what it looks to be replacing, SMS and MMS? Will there still be a place for them?
A very good point that you mentioned SMS, because RCS is the SMS 2.0. The fact that it built into your phone already, so that everybody who's a telco subscriber and has an Android phone can receive it, is the biggest advantage that you can ever have. Yeah. What we see right now, and it's proven by the numbers that we see, by the conversion, is that people are responding to this kind of tools. I mean, we are entering with RCS, we are entering a good few years after WhatsApp was introduced and all the other OTT channels. So people are used to speak with their relatives, with their friends, exchange. There are already patterns that we know, happening with the young generations, with the old generations. So it's nothing new, but it's coming from telco. And one of the biggest advantages is as well, with the telcos, we are touching a legally safe ground, and we are touching technologically a very safeguarded area. I mean, WhatsApp, Viber, everything works fine, great products, but we are really not certain if something goes wrong in the States or in Asia, if a bigger breach or whatever, those products might be harmed in a couple of hours and disappear for a really long time.
Yeah,
that can't happen with telco technology. It's as well, the legal aspect, especially in the European Union, is a huge one as well. They keep the data inside of the European Union, which is not the case with global OTT players like Meta, Viber, Telegram. and so on and so on. So potential customers, business customers like banks, for example, with sensitive information that could be traded on those channels, they will look for something more safe. Yeah. So if you would like to, if there will be a bank wanting to use any of these channels, they would most probably go to the telco, because they are anyway, in any case, already customers of the telco. And they would prefer to use something that is legally 100% legit in Europe, in Asia, and so on and so on. So it's a huge aspect. The data protection and security will be a huge advantage for RCS as well.
So this is touching also security and privacy, which is an important topic, especially if you are trying to get a next step forward, such as you go for the window shopping on your smartphone with an interaction opportunity. Yeah, the window is small, but it is with you, and you have all the attraction to get the interaction and to create the desire and get him into action, such as a minimalistic approach to make AIDA work again. Yeah, that
Exactly.
is.
And it's a great platform to make it even safer. One of the topics that we are discussing today is mobile identity. So
Here we
mobile
go.
identity, you can build in features of mobile identity into any kind of OTT dialogue. But if you have a safe OTT channel, safe. WhatsApp and all the other OTT channels are state of art, first of all. Everything works. But in terms of this data protection and some legal aspects, especially in the European Union, there are advantages towards RCS. So, and if you have let's say, a more safer OTT channel, which you can additionally on top equip with security features coming from mobile identity, which is another telco technology, then we have something really brilliant.
Wow.
Yeah, it sounds like a real game changer, or potentially. But what sort of feedback have you received on the idea of mobile identity, both from telecoms and possibly from the user base?
And out of curiosity, I would like to step into that question as well. There was an initiative to identify you as a person who is authorized to get a new phone activated. That was done to the German Postal Service, the DHL. It was Postident, and unfortunately, they skipped that one. Would the mobile identity step into it to give you an opportunity to get your new mobile phone activated and identified?
So let's step one step back.
Please do
Mobile
so.
Mobile identity is like a treasure trove of information, of data, subscriber data.
Okay.
So as soon as you have signed your deal with T-Mobile, Vodafone, whatever telco in the world, you signed under a document full of your personal data, including potentially your ID number, including any kind of address, including your mobile number, obviously. This data lies on the side of the mobile network operators, and they
We seem to have a technical hiccup.
the protection policies, the GDPR policies. Can you hear me?
You cut out for
a minute. You were a bit frozen, and now you're back again. That's cool.
Okay, so getting back to the data. So right now, through mobile identity, mobile network operators have created something like a standardized, globally accepted standard of monetizing this kind of data, your data. So it starts with a simple SIM swap feature where the mobile network operator can tell a business through a very quick check in the background that your SIM card is, let's say, younger or older than 24 hours. Yeah. Which is already removing a lot of risk, yeah, because of SIM card cloning, stealing, and so on and so on, takeover. But as well, imagine in the future, it will be possible for you to fill out online forms just by entering your mobile number and clicking on the submit button. Yeah, all your personal information needed for an online form could be inserted by the telco in splits of seconds. Have you tried to fill out an online form on a mobile yet for a serious
Well,
product?
a serious and honest answer. I tried, I goofed, and I went to my tablet to manage it, at least, especially if it comes to non-responsive designed entry forms, which even that you switch the phone to the broader side in a vertical position, that you had the problem that then with the keyboard you have some trouble, or if you go to official pages from the state, or police, or the Ministry of the Interior, or if you go for my little town, they have not the forms adopted to the different end user form factors, such as smartphone, tablet, laptop. And the most convenient for one is going for the laptop with a large screen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So
Lucky if they've considered that issue.
So this is the data that you are willing basically to use as a consumer, and you know that is lying safely and securely on the side of the mobile network operator.
Yeah.
With you can equip this process with a lot of, let's say, steps in order to make it safer or quicker. But that will allow so much more new business. You can as well verify the SIM card. You know, if the SIM card
Okay.
has manipulated as well, or if the SIM card is active, for how long it's active. If it's a SIM card in an iPhone or in an Android phone, that will be important for many technical issues as well.
Yeah.
We are speaking about, let's say, valuing of the client. So something like you are trying to sign up somewhere to an insurance company, and the telco provides the insurance company in the background with a risk mini risk assessment. Yeah, this customer has no negative record in as not paying his bills. He always buys the highest range of devices. It is potentially a 5-star customer or a 1-star customer for you. So that is, first of all, compliant with all the laws all over the world. And that's why the umbrella organization, the telco umbrella organization GSMA, has created one global standard for mobile identity. And that's why I think it's a global chance to utilize the data, the subscriber data on the side of the telcos in so many different ways.
That's a cool message. Safe and sound with mobile identity.
Yeah.
Like it.
That's tagline. But the laws regarding personal security and privacy, while they've come a long way in the past several years, they're still being built. They're still working their way into business and into society. How easy or difficult will it be to keep up with those changes while you're still trying to make a product that meets all standards?
Obviously, especially in the European Union, it's a painful process. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we have reached a point, especially in terms of mobile identity, where even in Germany, a restrictive data policy security region, you can basically seamlessly check the validity of the SIM card in the background without asking the consumer, just in order to prevent fraud. Yeah, I will give you an example from Hungary. I was basically one of the Deutsche Telekom product guys from Hungary was telling me about a fraud case where fraudsters placed an ad about an apartment in the center of Budapest. Great area, great price, first of all. So thousands of people reacted on that ad.
Yeah.
The fraudsters asked them to download an application where they could view the pictures of this apartment.
Right.
Obviously, it was a highly fraudulent application, sucking up all the information, all the passwords, and so on and so on. And I don't know if you know, but if you have enough information, you can go to a telecom shop and request a duplicate of your SIM card by simply telling your password. So what they did was a 24-hour action. They requested several thousands of those SIM cards. They had passwords. They knew which applications people had, which banking applications they had on their phones. Usually, if you have one password, people are maybe sometimes like me, simple and using mostly one password. So they cleared accounts of several thousand people within 24 hours and went away. Nobody has found them. With a feature like a SIM swap, where a bank is asking for basically the age of the SIM card, all that fraud would be prevented. Yeah. And this is just one single mini feature in mobile identity.
Wow. On the other side, oh my goodness, that is a dirty trick they did on the thousands of people. And what a relief that there is something which could prevent that in a future approach.
Maybe while we're speaking about conversation, so imagine someday you will use the RCS channel in order to check your bank account, check the bank account status. So you are asking for a status, and in the background, the bank is performing a SIM swap check in order to ensure that your card is the same one that you are using, for the last year or a month even, which minimize the risk of hijacked SIM card.
Starting from where we began our conversation, that you have been in several businesses, your own story is, let's say, one starting point, but the Infobip family story, so to say, is another fascinating starting point to get a bit into detail, such as where were you founded? What was the idea? And which markets did you address firstly?
So imagine a small olive farmer's village on the shores of the Adriatic Sea in Croatia, where nothing happens when right now at this time of the day, people are starting to come out of their houses because it's so hot, and meeting people in coffee shops. In this little village, two brothers, they left for the capital, Zagreb, and they worked for exactly 2 months in a bigger technology company when they have decided to do something on their own. So they came back to that little village, took some money out of the savings of their parents, and have created a first small SMS platform that allowed the local municipality to inform people about when the garbage will be picked up, from their houses.
Okay.
It was the first mini case of automating not only the communication, but as well allowing a business or a company to run something more smoothly without entering numbers, entering content, repeating it. And then they have discovered basically that the SMS platforms, they are in Croatia, they are the same in Germany, they are the same in Colombia, in Nigeria, in Sri Lanka. So they were thinking, okay, so let's build a platform to
Uh-huh.
have SMS communication on global scale and provide this access platform to international SMS messaging to bigger businesses. It went so well. The platform was, when it comes to the quality, of a high quality. So they grew, and they became one of the top three SMS providers in the world. And then the spark went over to other channels. So when there is SMS communication, then potentially we can do something in voice communication. But if we do something with channels outside of the telco area, so how can we merge them all into one interface in order to make it easy for our partners and clients?
Yeah.
And slowly we came to a CPaaS platform, meaning a platform that allows businesses to communicate on all channels, just with the channel output, and then slowly to the SaaS platform with the orchestration of all those channels, meaning building the dialogue, connecting it to the CRMs, allowing you to implement chatbots, having their own chatbot product as well. So, the product stack at the end is something that makes a difference. And if it works all together, then you see the story that took, let's say, almost 15 years until now. And I can tell you that those two brothers, Silvio and Roberto, and one of their university friends, Isabel, they are still in this little village. They bought a few parcels over there and built one of the, let's say, most modern technology campus in the Balkan area. So still with the view on the sea and the Brioni archipelago, Brioni Islands, but in the same village, they started it in the garage, basically. This is
Wow.
our headquarters.
That is fascinating. And starting off like a rocket, I can only applaud, especially that they still have their roots connected into the work-life balance, such as we are still grounded, we are still in a positive way and mentality, we are still here where we started, and we are not sky high in the universe and lost our foundation to the people and the beneficial aspects we are serving. Um, that is really fascinating because a lot of people which have such a success lose their roots or get too greedy or get taken away. And what I find very interesting, you mentioned, for instance, Nigeria. Having been in Ghana and some other African countries, I have observed that they have no real telecommunication network in a classical approach. It is a network served and utilized by mobile phones. So, for that, it was a momentum and a double hit in the positive way that with that platform from Infobip, you could get them all the sexiness of customer experience creation over the channel which is preferred. which comes to the aspect of where do you see the next markets? Where do you see the acceptance from some of the business-to-business enterprise driving organizations which want to make business through your platform? What are their key drivers, and where do they talk to you, such as that is our perspective, how we can create a new experience?
I will give you a German example. So if you listen to a radio in Germany, you are being encouraged to send your feedback via WhatsApp in many cases. So even the smallest radio stations are offering you a number to call in, send us some feedback, send us some question in order to trigger this interaction. They live from it.
Yeah.
Take the German railways right now and compare this reaching out to the customers. On which channels are they reaching out to the customers? I mean, the highest of the feelings is maybe email, but they are sending billions and gazillions of emails, which are mostly not working. The goal is like lost somewhere. So, and you have this comparison. I assume that a lot of high-ranked board members of the German railways are listening to the radio, and they are notifying some different behavior of people on channels that they are not using on their own. So in many cases, we are confronted with this reaction. Big enterprises are calling us up and asking us, guys, could we do something similar like those guys are doing? Because our customers, especially the young ones, are communicating on that channel and we are not. Or vice versa. We are going to, and I'm using the German railways as an example, as for a big enterprise and potentially a state run as well, of which we have many. And we are always angry when we are on the hotline with them because it's super complicated and you're waiting for hours. Sometimes we are going to meetings with those, to discovery meetings with those enterprises, and we are showing them the world out there. So the challenge right now is to make the big guys understand what happens already, in the underwood, that will eventually grow, but it's up to you how fast you are to grow it. German railways have no competition in their own country, but there are many enterprises, e-commerce enterprises, that are recognizing that if they miss the train, they miss hundreds of thousands of potential customers. Because somebody else will snatch them away just because they are using a mechanism on Instagram, WhatsApp, RCS, or whatever. So the challenge is to make enterprises recognize the shift of the times and show them in practical ways how it's working nowadays. So, and we are, and you mentioned Africa and Asia. Paradoxically, these countries in some topics are adapting much faster than the European countries because they have embraced the mobile advantage already much earlier than Europe, using a lot of banking solutions through mobile apps in Africa. You can basically pay out money instead out of the bank, but from your mobile network operator in Kenya through M-Pesa and other mobile wallet features. So as well, those countries are less restrictive when it comes to data and so on and so on. So they are embracing those revolutionary steps much earlier. And then we are able to basically showcase a Arabic bank example to a bank in Central Europe, which is 8 years ahead of what they are doing right now.
Wow.
This is the thing of being global.
To be a bit the teaser, because I'm representing now a bit the bad guy who's missing today, as Thomas is on a sailing boat, and normally he is Mr. Scrooge, such as a bit provocative. If we see here that the Swiss banks have more trouble to survive than Arab banks, they are not such as keen in implementing new technology, even if it would serve them very well. The other perspective you just gave me with mentioning the German railway system, which felt that it is rocket science to get an app into live up and running, is highly sophisticated rocket science. They start not the board, but the conductors, those people which are serving and in dialogues with their travelers. They utilize very much the mobile phone. They use it for a lot of cases, and they use it, for instance, to give you the most just and appropriate, if you are in the train, information, because they cannot rely on the one they have in their ticketing engine, that large thing where they do the controlling and ticketing control stuff with, because it's slower. The smartphone is faster. So 100% with you, embracing that, utilizing such a service like from Infobip over RCS or other driven high-speed paths is the future. And Daniel Kraus, my dear friend, from Flixbus, has learned that lesson as well and started Flixtrain. And their app is very convenient, and their interaction capabilities is also very comfortable. But you are right again. It is easier for Deutsche Bahn to communicate and give you a warning that your train is delayed or that there is something happening on the tracks, and they get it by email, and you do not get it directly into the app. That was starting several months ago, that they give you the warning as well into the app, where you had it easier to register and get knowing of. So that is interesting to see how it's driven forward. And then competition is always an interesting mover to get slow motion dinosaurs a friendly kick in the ass and give them a little pain, a teaser, such as, hey guys, wake up. There is an opportunity coming around. I was just wondering, because being the CRM convo and talking about customer experience, what were your feedbacks, not from the organizations which you make rich, famous, and more sexy, such as Deutsche Telekom, Vodafone, and those which used your service? What is the reflection they get from their end users, from their customers? How do they like the service?
First of all, is the conversion rates. So what we have done with Deutsche Telekom was, for example, an upsell campaign to, let's say, upsell the Spotify Premium product to an audience that is already highly saturated with Spotify. But we did it on RCS. And they told us, okay, guys, when we have 1% more conversion rates, we will roll out the red carpet for you guys. And we had 11% of conversion growth. So, and with the first dialogue ever that we have produced together, so they were like blown away. So it was a natural reflex to keep on sending out multimedia RCS campaigns where people can basically interact with you. They are, pushing buttons, trying to get to know something, trying to see a visual. They can, listen to something into the dialogue, and they can, in the dialogue, they can purchase something. So it goes from acquisition to basically full conversion with a payment option at the end, and everything happens in a dialogue. So
Fantastic.
the response is basically the conversion rate, satisfied customers who are basically purchasing something uh, which wasn't purchased in that scale via an SMS campaign.
Wahnsinn.
So, with that in mind, do you think that in the future your competition is going to come from large CRM vendors, or is it going to be from smaller startups like you yourself once were?
This is the beauty of communication. Everybody does communication. So whoever orchestrates, organizes, coordinates communication is a potential customer. So marketing agencies, CRM specialists. I mean, in our last roundtable, guys from Oracle were present. So starting with Oracle, ending with the regional, CRM company specializing in small, medium businesses as well. But enterprises directly, because the solutions that we build are intuitive, don't require any coding knowledge. It's a drag and drop building of the dialogue. So you can use it on your own. You can let somebody prep your communication as well. So we are very broad, and we have recognized that basically we have built a platform that utilizes like a 3/4 of those channels are telco channels. So we are partnering up with the telcos, allowing them to use our tool as their own, reselling it to their own partners as well. And we are fine to give up our own opportunities in order to allow telcos do the business, because it's simply a bigger scale, and telcos are more trusted than somebody who has
It's
15
like,
years.
honestly, I love it. It's Louis XIV, share and reign, instead of make competition. So Carsten Ratzlaff is with Oracle, and he already got the message very clearly, loud and shiny. So it's a wake-up call for Jürgen Litz from Cobra CRM. It's a wake-up call for Suvish Vichanaswan in Soho, in Essen and Europe, and from all the friendly guys in the blue cloud from Salesforce, that aside of AI and that modern shitty crap, there is solid stuff which is easy to establish, cool to utilize, and creates with a no-brainer effort an extra value and makes people happy. Yeah. So that is also where I could see some sugar in it. Andreas Schuster, let's ring the bell and use the opportunity, because when the next time you are coming along to Germany, leaving beautiful Vienna, which I always would say I envy you, honestly, living in Vienna, a fantastic town, and a lot of perspective, and a near road to all of the Eastern European countries, and also good connection to Cologne and other areas. So where could we meet you in flesh and blood? Will you be on the Digital X, Rafal, or where will you be ready to talk to?
In the meantime, I'm concentrating on big projects with telcos. So we have group projects as well. You can imagine RFPs, tenders. So and being that big by now, having offices in several cities, we are trying to send the local guys to local events So when something happens in Berlin, then we have a Berlin office. We send somebody from Berlin. When something happens in Madrid or London, then we send somebody over there. The business grows very fast. Yeah. And on top of the business, we are happy to start any prototyping, build concepts even before we sign agreements. So we are fine to join with enterprises, with solution providers, in order to build something for their partners or for our little alliance as well when we see the opportunity. So it's right now, for example, in Germany, I'm building an RCS flow with a payment checkout with one of the payment system providers as well, in order to create a flow for the customers, which will end with the payment, in the dialogue. So, as I told you, approaching somebody, you want to promote, let's say, tickets to a destination, allow people to choose the promotion, choose the city, the time of the day, and to buy this ticket instantly. For that, you will need something like a banking checkout. So, and that requires. Oh, I see. It stopped for a short while. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you. And it is that your computer has simply realized that we are at the top of the hour, and that it is time, after this was a conversation like the speed of light, and all the perspectives which are running up, that it is time for the wrap-up famous last words questions. So let's put it in a way of a call to action, as you just started. What is your recommendation for those which have not been in your, let's say, in your garden of opportunities, to jump in and join the opportunity to create cool experiences and some stuff in the area of make benefit out of it? Yeah. And thank you, Winfried, for that observation. We think so as well, but famous last words on Rafal.
So we love to challenge our potential customers and our partners and people we talk to in having a look on their existing communication, on whatever channel it's happening, and then imagine all these new channels, new automation features, and if it's too much to imagine it by themselves, to ask us, guys, how would you innovate our current flows? What's happening out there right now? We are doing A. We would like to hear from you about the B, or C, D, whatever. What's the future? Or if you'd like to, if you are a CEO of a company and your kids are using, WhatsApp, Discord, Snapchat, whatever, challenge yourself, challenge us in potentially build something on those channels that you are really not using at the moment, because you're missing something for sure.
Cool.
For sure.
With that, we will end the broadcast and go backstage and look forward for next week's show, when we have two very brilliant ladies talking with us on some privacy in the new age of where everything is going AI, and what we have there for observations. So stay tuned. Thank you for participating today. Thanks heaps to Rafal for being our guest. And now I push the button to